In the book of Acts 15:10, James, or one of the people at the council, says the yoke of the law is very burdensome for us. Uh-oh. Sabbath keepers, we weren't eating that pork. Oh, no, no. We didn't understand, and God in his mercy realized that we did these things in ignorance. But once we get it clear, we need to help others to come out of that too. 2 covenants. The law that was added. Isn't that interesting? What is this law that was added? Ask your friends. They don't know how to define that. Slavery, bondage, 10 commandments were bondage. You always look at a cult reading of that and you say, what do they do with that verse? That the 10 commandments are bondage. The law written in tablets of stone is bondage. That's a bit troublesome, isn't it? Okay, so it's clear that freedom is absolutely the essence of it. And we'll come after any of our friends who go back into enforce food laws, enforce Sabbath keeping, holy days. Now, if you want to do that diplomatically to keep your friends happy, Paul did that too. He circumcised Timothy, who was a Jew, only because of the Jews, not because there was any necessity to circumcise Timothy. I'm for one church for Jew and Gentile alike. I don't believe in Christian believers who are Jewish having to keep all those things still. I don't believe that, while the Gentiles don't. There's only one faith. Circumcision is neither here nor there. It doesn't matter, circumcision in the flesh, because we're now under the spirit of the law. We've worked from the water to the wine. And here we're going to talk about the Sabbath then, most important. The Sabbath that we kept so diligently is the yoke of Jesus, is not the heavy one of Sabbath keeping. Isn't that interesting? The yoke. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Jesus, the rabbi, John 13:13, Rabbi and Lord. You call me Rabbi and Lord. Oh no, you just died for my sins. That's half the gospel. Very bad. You've got to do the teaching of Jesus. Otherwise you're not doing the new covenant. You've got to do the teaching of Jesus as well as the ratifying death, which I'm going to show you is the Jesuanic covenant. That's amazing. That's hiding even in your translations. You've got the Abrahamic covenant. You've got before that another covenant with the rainbow. Isn't that beautiful? God puts a sign of that in the sky. I'm not going to flood the world again. Then you've got the Mosaic covenant. But before that you've got the Abrahamic covenant. The gospel was preached ahead of time to Abraham. The gospel was about the land, the progeny, the property, and the posterity. Then the Abrahamic is going to be followed by the Davidic covenant. How important is David? He's mentioned more in the Bible than Jesus even. He's massively important. Royalty, notice the royalty. The sense of dignity and royalty in the king. He's super important, David is. Imagine being the son of David. Related to David, 14 generations, all the sevens. David is 7 in Hebrew, 14 generations, twice 7, 3 times over, completion. There's a lot of patterns here which shows that God is at work. Okay, so then you have the Jesuanic covenant. Now just do it right now while we're talking about covenant. What's the Jesuanic covenant? Where does Jesus speak about covenant? You don't actually know because it's not there in your translation scaring it. Where does Jesus say, I covenant with you at the Lord's Supper? Isn't that brilliant? It's hiding in your translation. It says something about, well, God gave me a kingdom, I give it to you as well. No, just as my Father covenanted to me to give me the kingdom, fear not little flocks, your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So I, Jesus, am going to ratify the covenant with my blood, because all covenants have to be ratified by blood, to give you as covenant the kingdom. And what? You're going to sit on thrones. Think of the dignity of that. And supervise, rule the regathered tribes. Okay, that's great. So there's the Jesuanic covenant. It's the gift of the kingdom. So no wonder the gospel of the kingdom is missing from evangelicalism. You can check it. They don't talk about it.